Have you ever wondered how your recovery time from common cold, flu, or small infection seems to get shorter after you have been exposed and successfully recovered from it from the first time? Well, you can thank something known as the adaptive immunity for this. Okay, so let us understand what is adaptive immunity all about. So put your seatbelts on and get ready to be absolutely mind blown as we unravel the fascinating world of adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity, which is also known as the acquired immunity. Why acquired immunity? Because it is acquired after birth. So let's move ahead.
Hello everyone, welcome to Biology with MJ. This is MJ, your enthusiastic guide. So whether you are a NEET aspirant or simply a biology lover, this video is filled with valuable insights and knowledge. Okay, so stay tuned till the end of the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you never miss an update. Remember to like, comment and share this video with your friends. Okay, so let's get to the video.
So picture this. Consider your body is like a fortress and is under a constant attack by invaders like bacteria, viruses, and more. But fear not, for we have an amazing defense system that is in place, which is known as the adaptive immunity. It is also known as the second line of defense. This system is more efficient than the innate immunity system because it is specific and can differentiate between different kinds of pathogens. It is also memory based. We will study more about this later on. So adaptive immunity is basically like your personal army. It is super intelligent. It remembers each enemy it has ever encountered. This is something known as immune memory or immunological memory. That is why the adaptive immunity system is memory based. Now let us meet the army involved in the adaptive immunity. First off comes the dendritic cells. They act as scouts. Now what do these cells do? They take a piece of the invader cell. For example, a pathogen has various antigens on its surface. So dendritic cells will take antigen from the pathogens and take this antigens to other cells which are involved in the adaptive immune response. So basically these antigens, they are the wanted posters but of the immune system. Okay, so here the character is antigen and the crime is invasion into our body. So the dendritic cells will take these antigens to the heroes of our adaptive immune system. These heroes are B cells and T cells. Now both of these are lymphocytes, which are a subtype of the white blood cells. Okay. Now the B cells and T cells, when they come in contact with the dendritic cell carrying the antigen, they become activated. Now B cells will attack the invaders which have not yet infected the body cells, which are outside the cells. And T cells will attack those cells which are already infected. So adaptive immunity is a war room. B cells and T cells mediate attacks based on the intelligence received from the dendritic cells. Now how do these immune cells act? So basically what happens is after they get activated, they multiply rapidly and create an army of cells. Both B cells and T cells which have been activated multiply rapidly. Now let us study about the B cell response. So the activated B cells produce a lot of protein molecules which are known as antibodies. These antibodies are specific to the target pathogen. Now let us briefly look at how an antibody looks like. So the antibody basically has a Y-shaped structure. It has two light chains and two heavy chains. Okay, that is why we write an antibody like H2L2, which means two heavy chains and two light chains. And there are various kinds of antibodies that are present in our body. These are IgG, IgE, IgD, IgM, IgA and so on. Now, these antibodies when they come in contact with their target pathogen, they bind to the antigen that is present on the surface of that pathogen, thereby tagging this pathogen. Now this pathogen has been tagged and marked by these antibodies. Now what is the purpose of this tagging? Now this pathogen has been marked, which means that it has been marked for its destruction. Okay? Certain immunological pathways, by using those pathways, the body will kill this pathogen cell. Now, most of the B cells after this pathogen or threat has been eliminated will die. But some of these cells will convert into memory B cells. Okay? Here comes the memory part of the adaptive immunity, which takes part in the immunological memory. So these memory B cells remember the information of this target pathogen. So the next time this target pathogen will enter into the body, these memory B cells will generate a quicker response and a stronger and faster response in response to that pathogen, because the memory B cells already have the information about that particular target pathogen. So the response will increase in its intensity also, and it will also be faster. So this is where the immunological memory part comes in. Now, since the antibodies, they are released in the blood by the B cells, this kind of immune response is also known as the humoral immune response or the antibody-mediated immune response. This is one of the two types of our acquired immune response. It is antibody-mediated. Now, let us come to the T cell response. So, the T lymphocytes are of three main types. Okay, they are divided into three main types. These are the cytotoxic T cells, helper T cells, and regulatory T cells. And the immune response that is mediated by T lymphocytes is known as the cell-mediated immunity or the cell-mediated immune response. Cell-mediated immune response is the second type of our acquired immune response. So, acquired immune response is of two types: humoral immunity and cell-mediated immunity. Humoral immunity is mediated by the B lymphocytes, and the cell-mediated immunity or CMI is mediated by the T lymphocytes. So the cytotoxic T cells, they produce toxic agents which directly kills the target cell or the target pathogen. The helper T cells stimulate the cytotoxic T cells to become active. They can also stimulate the B cells to make antibodies. Regulatory T cells suppress the immune response. They basically regulate the immune response so that the immune system does not go overboard in its response. So the cytotoxic T cells are the main cells here. They are the warriors of the immune system. They are the most important cells here. They release toxic agents, these molecules, these chemical molecules which will directly kill the pathogen. Now, once again, just like the B cells, after the threat has been eliminated, most of the T cells die, but some of the T cells will get converted into the memory T cells. These memory T cells, just like the memory B cells, will retain and store the information of its encounter with the pathogen, so that when next time when the body encounters the same pathogen again, the response that the body will generate would be quicker and it would also be stronger. So the first time that the body encounters a new pathogen, that is a primary response by the body, primary immune response, which is weaker. But when the same pathogen is encountered by the body for the second time, the response generated is stronger, and it is also known as the secondary immune response. So basically, both the memory B cells and memory T cells have a database of information about the enemies of the body. Okay, they are constantly storing information about these enemies that the body is encountering. Now let us look at some real world applications of this adaptive immunity. So we all know that organ transplantation procedures are taking place in the world. Okay, now doctors do not just randomly take a donor, they do not just take the organ from any animal or any primate and transfer it into a recipient. They specifically look at a donor. They match their tissue and their blood type with the recipient, and then when the match is happening, they perform the organ transplantation procedure. Because if they do not match these aspects, the recipient's body will reject the transplant. Okay, Why the recipient body will reject the transplant? Because our body can differentiate between the self and the non-self. This differentiation takes place because of an immune system which we just studied, which is known as the cell-mediated immunity. Cell-mediated immunity is responsible for the rejection of these organ transplants or the grafts. Okay, so only after the donor's blood type and tissue type is matching with the recipient's tissue type and blood type can the doctors perform this organ transplantation procedure. And even after this, the recipient has to take the immunosuppressants all of his or her life. Okay. Next comes the vaccines. Now we all have heard about vaccines and we all have been vaccinated also. What is the key ingredient in the vaccine? The key ingredient in the vaccine is an antigen. Antigen from a disease-causing organism. Vaccines introduce harmless agents to train your immune army. So basically in vaccines, a weakened form of the disease-causing organism or the antigen is introduced into a healthy body so that the immune system is prepared when it encounters an actual disease-causing organism. The vaccines are basically a sneak peek for your immune system, preparing it for the real battle. It is basically a dress rehearsal before the big show. Okay? Vaccines are preparing the immune system for the real enemy. So you must be wondering that why should you care about all this? Well, you should, because our body is a battleground and is constantly fighting enemies, foreign agents each and every single passing day. With this information, you can make better informed decisions about your health and maybe also become a future immunologist. Remember that you are not just learning biology, you are unlocking the mysteries of your own incredible defense system. So keep learning and keep exploring. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching this video. If you have any feedback and suggestions, or if you found something useful, do let me know in the comments below, and like this video, definitely share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.